What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Star Wars season here on Cinematic Reviews. You can find this episode and the rest of the season on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. You can also support the pod with monthly donations and by giving it a rating on your favorite listening service. I very much appreciate all the support from you guys out there. Today, I'll be giving my reaction to Part 5 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. This week's episode was an incredible experience. I'm excited to share my thoughts on it. So let's just jump right into it. We finally got it. We finally got flashbacks with Hayden and Ewan during the prequels. It wasn't what we were all expecting, but it was so awesome to see. I really thought that we would see Anakin and Obi-Wan during the Clone Wars, but now that I think of it, I'm pretty sure Filoni is saving all of that for the Ahsoka show coming out next year. Having the flashback during Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, was a huge surprise. They didn't really de-age Hayden either, which was also very surprising, but I think he looked really great. It was so good to see him back as Anakin wielding a lightsaber. If the prequels would have looked as good as this flashback did, I think fans would have had more of a positive reaction to them back in the early 2000s when they came out. I've said it every week, and this week isn't any different. This is by far the best episode of the show. It's honestly one of my favorite Star Wars episodes out of all the shows and some of the films. Ewan just kills it once again, and Vader continues to be menacing as hell. We got more tension between the two, and I love how the episode had such an Empire Strikes Back vibe to it. It was a genius idea to show the flashback happen throughout the episode that it could mirror what was actually happening in real time. Now, I've been really down on the Reva character as a whole, and I still am a little bit. We finally get the backstory of her, and it's what we all predicted. She was one of the younglings during the opening scene in Part 1. She was there when Anakin came into the temple to kill all the Jedi during Order 66. I actually really love that scene. I love all of the Order 66 flashbacks, actually, that we have gotten throughout all these Disney Plus shows. I understand now why Reva is the way she is. She feels lost and forgotten by the Jedi. I'm still not on board with Moses Ingram's acting, but this is her best performance by far. Her fight with Vader was so insane. Vader just owns her ass without even breaking a sweat. I really thought that he was going to kill her by the end. I've been rooting for her to be killed off since Part 1, but now I'm oddly okay with her still alive. I hope my thoughts on her changes in the finale, just like they kind of did during this episode. Now, the death that we did get, though, was very surprising and heartbreaking. Tala getting killed off was so sad that the whole scene in the tunnel with the stormtroopers was just heartbreaking. The loader droid hovering over her to protect her was incredible. I love how she gives the Empire one last middle finger with the thermal detonator. She went out like the badass that she is, and I love it. Ewan's performance during all that was also so incredible. He is just killing it in this show. Now, let's talk Vader and Hayden for a minute here. This is by far the best Vader that we have gotten so in the Star Wars universe. I really love him in the Rebel show, but I think this is better than that because one, it's live action, so it's even more terrifying to watch. And two, it's Hayden Christensen coming back to play the Vader. From start to finish, Vader in this episode in particular is so freaking menacing and brutal. Him using the Force to pull the ship down and ripping it apart was so awesome. Then when Reva comes up behind him to kill him, that's where Vader just unleashes all of his power. He makes her look like a Padawan again, just like Obi-Wan did to Anakin in the flashback. When he gets his hands on her lightsaber and wrecks her, I lost my shit. I love how the entire fight he was just toying with her. Him using only one of hand before even touching a lightsaber was such a nice touch to the choreography. James Earl Jones kills it once again as the voice of Vader as well, which is no surprise. He is Vader, and I'm dreading the day when he isn't able to do the voice anymore. Seeing the spinning effect with the Inquisitor lightsaber is always cool to see, especially in live action. I'm still really down on the Inquisitors overall, but I'm starting to turn a corner on Reva a little bit. Hopefully the finale changes my mind on the Inquisitors, just like they did on this episode. They're so badass in the Rebel show, and it's really disappointing to see Disney drop the ball with them in live action. Bringing back the Grand Inquisitor was cool, but it made me ask, why kill him off in the first place? I know they wanted Reva to kind of take over the role for a few episodes in order to try to build her character up, but it just doesn't make sense to me to introduce a live-action version of a character that we all love, such as the Grand Inquisitor, and then quote-unquote kill him off, even though he's still alive in the Rebels show. I just think that they could have handled that character a lot better. Honestly, I think they could have handled all the Inquisitors as a whole better. It's just lazy writing to me. So with the finale coming up next week, let's talk some predictions. I've been saying it every week, and I still believe it now. Qui-Gon has to show up in the final episode. Obi-Wan will need guidance from him in order to protect both Luke and Leia from Vader. Liam Neeson will return as a Force ghost before Obi-Wan fights Anakin again. They've been hinting at it since part 1, and honestly, this show kind of needs it. Many fans out there are still on the fence with this show, or have completely written it off. So having Qui-Gon pop up will win over a ton of those viewers that we lost. Now with the next showdown between Vader and Obi-Wan, I think it will be on Mustafar and not on Tatooine. It would be very poetic returning there after the events of Revenge of the Sith, but it would also make more sense from a writing standpoint. Luke doesn't know about the Jedi or lightsabers until A New Hope, so the fighting needs to happen off Tatooine in order to stay with the canon. Plus, it seems like every Star Wars project goes to Tatooine at some point, so it would be a really nice change of pace to have a huge moment happen somewhere else. I really hope we get Obi-Wan breaking Vader's helmet also during the fight and revealing Hayden underneath. I will lose my shit if that happens. Lastly, I think Reva will be killed off in the finale. Obi-Wan will turn her back to the light side, and she will die fighting Vader. Her character needs that arc, and I think it will help me feel more emotionally invested in her. This episode did a great job at turning me around on her a little bit, but I'm still not on board with the character overall. Obi-Wan will then escape Vader's clutches yet again and return to Tatooine. I think the final shot will be him looking over at Luke from a distance, like we saw at the beginning of the show. I really love this show, and I will be disappointed when it ends, because 6 episodes is really short for a series like this. I'm not completely on board with the season 2 right now. It will all depend on how the finale ends this first season. I don't want a continuation of it if the finale is satisfying enough. I would rather have humans show up in other projects like the Andor show coming up in August. If there is a season 2 though, and a Vader series on top of it, then I'm all in. I'm all in on anything Star Wars right now. Say what you want about the sequel trilogy, but I think Disney is killing it with the Disney Plus shows, especially The Mandalorian. And speaking of The Mandalorian, the big question for me is, how does this series stack up against The Mandalorian? Mandalorian to me is the best Star Wars project, period, right now. I absolutely love Empire Strikes Back, but I love The Mandalorian just a little bit more. I'm really excited to rank this series as a whole on next week's episode. Well, that'll do it for my reaction to part 5 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Join me next week for not only my reaction to the finale of Kenobi, but the finale of the Star Wars season. Also, join me every Monday for my thoughts on the newest releases in theaters and on streaming services. But until then, may the Force be with you, always.